Primetime Seniors is brought to you by Home Helpers of the Lowcountry, providing safe and independent in-home care. And filmed on location at Riverside at Belfair. More than a retirement community, it's a lifestyle. Welcome to Primetime Seniors, living for today, making choices for tomorrow. I'm Debbie Court, coming to you from Riverside at Belfair with Debbie Morris, who's the owner of Home Helpers of the Lowcountry, and Laura Williams, who is the executive director here at Riverside at Belfair. Here we are.
October. What a great month. We were laughing, it's so busy, but it's because you're trying to cram everything in before the holidays start.
Right.
And it's like August ends, September whizzes by, and now it's...
And here we are.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of things going on, so we want to take a little time before we delve into this month's topic, which is lifelong learning. We want to first talk about some of those important things that are going on, some of those events, so you can mark your calendars and get involved or show up.
Well, Home Helpers always, for the last 5 years, has been a sponsor of the NAMI Walk. Both Ted Cooley, my business partner, and I are both very active with NAMI. And it's October 22nd at Caligny Beach. We usually have about 400 or 500 people show up, so it's fun. And then the weekend before that, on October 15th, I believe it is, we're sponsoring, along with a couple of other local senior service groups, the fall ball at Memory Matters, which is always a great night. And this year it's going to be a masquerade, so I'm working on masks.
Oh, fun.
So, yeah.
Did you, and Abracadabra is a new
I saw them.
emporium in Bluffton. They've got some amazing masks. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
If you need something, there's a great resource.
I saw them. I
out.
haven't been in yet.
They're beautiful.
It's
they
amazing.
Really are.
Yeah,
They're great.
it's a good
And
spot.
you've got tons going on.
We do.
Riverside.
On October 12th, what we're doing is a Margaritaville. So it's a kind of a shout out to Jimmy Buffett fans. And what we're doing is we're having a Jimmy Buffett style barbecue. It's a fundraiser for Memory Matters and the Alzheimer's Association to help promote Alzheimer's awareness.
That's great.
Open to the public?
Open to the general public. It's from 5 to 8.
$10 donation?
We can take a $10 donation, or they can donate as much as they like. We'd appreciate
More is
it.
good.
It's absolutely the
Do we
best.
need to make reservations ahead of time, or just
No, you can
walk
just
in?
come in and we'll show you a good time.
Great.
That's great. You've got some cool things going on too that you're going to be opening up to the public. Let's talk about that, because we were talking before the cameras started rolling, and this is really, really neat. It's the first that I had heard about it.
Well, we've always had a support group here, and it's been the second Monday of every month. And in September, what we did was we put the people who came to the support group through a class that I teach that I'm certified for through Second Wind Dreams out of Georgia. It is called Virtual Dementia. And so what
it's a dementia support group.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
For caregivers.
For caregivers, family members, anybody
good to
who may have a loved one or may have had a loved one to go through it and needs that extra support. And what we do is we literally simulate probably as close as you can get to having dementia for someone and help educate them through the process of what that loved one is going through. And it's very eye-opening.
Talk us through what is done. Like, I think you were telling that a couple different senses are affected.
Mm-hmm. Right, and so what we do is we simulate it so they have arthritis. We simulate their vision because there's a peripheral vision change with any type of dementia. So we have specific glasses that we put on them. There's a CD that we put headphones on them with, and so it becomes very disorienting to them. And not only that, but as you age, your hearing is going to decrease anyway. So we simulate that as well. Then of course you have the normal arthritis and corns and bunions in your feet, and so we simulate that as well. And then we give we put them in a setting where the lights are a little dimmer, because as you age, you need more light than when you were younger to see. And so what we do is we put them in a room that is a little dimmer than normal, and we ask them to do a set of 5 tasks. And it's very interesting to watch people go through it, because it literally is.
So while they're doing these tasks, they're simulating the arthritis and the podiatry problems, the limited vision, the hearing distortions.
Right.
What a powerful experience.
And so you're going to open that up. That was originally, then my understanding was just for those that were attending the support group, but now it will be open to the public.
Right. On the 4th Monday of the month, what we're going to do is open it up to the general public. We'll have 2 support groups in the month, starting in October, starting this month, on the 2nd and the 4th Monday of every month. And that way, we want to try to educate as many people as possible and help them go through this.
Wow, that is powerful. Because I think we all, again, well, with our topic last month about, you know, dementia and all of that, it's just, we all have been affected by it, whether it's someone in our immediate family or just knowing of someone. And it probably just opens up a whole new level of understanding and awareness and sympathy. Like, you really, it's got to be so powerful.
Absolutely. And I think one of the ladies who went through it this past month, what was said was her mom asked the repetitive questions over and over. It gets frustrating. Of course it does. We understand that. But I think what she took away from it was, my mom wouldn't ask the questions if she knew the answer. She just doesn't know. So, and I think it was really powerful for her.
And yeah, compassion building as well.
Wow, that's great stuff. So again, lots going on. Mark your calendars, and we've got a great show lined up. Let's talk a little bit about our topic this month, lifelong learning.
Forever and ever. You don't want to, well, you never want to stop learning new things, new ideas, different perspectives of the world. And what a great group of guests we have this month. You know, we have Andrea Cicino from the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. We have a lady who has traveled the world with Elder Hostel because she's created her own classroom out of the world. I mean, just never stop learning. It's exciting.
Yeah, we've got some fun things coming up this month here on Primetime Seniors. So stay right there. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with Andrea Cicino and lots more to talk about here on Primetime Seniors. Welcome back to Primetime Seniors. Andrea Cicino joins us. She's the director of Osher Lifelong Learning at USCB. It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here with you ladies.
Thanks.
Now tell us lots of questions, because I did not realize that you existed, and then that's my bad. But so tell us, for those that
speaks to your youth, that you aren't thinking about adult lifelong learning.
I may not have known either.
You know what, though? But that's a great opportunity, because that means that we have the opportunity to reach that many more people in this area. We have over 1,400 members, so there's a lot of us in this community. And they're lifelong learning enthusiasts. They love to learn. They're not out to get a degree or a certificate. They're out for the sake of just loving to learn.
Well, tell us about what you offer. How long have you been there? All those details. Educate us.
There we go. Well,
this will be the start of lifelong learning.
Okay. Well, actually, lifelong learning in this area has been around since 1991, but we've been the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the university for over 8 years now. And like I said, we have about 1,500 members right now. And what we do is we offer classes in 2 different terms. We have a fall term, and we also have a spring term and a summer term. And we offer over 200 courses per term, if you can imagine.
Are you kidding?
No. And the people that are coming, again, it's for the sake of learning. They're not getting a degree. They're not getting a certificate. They just love to learn. And this is one of the biggest OLLI programs in the country, and there's 117 OLLI programs in the country. So we offer courses in, you name it, history, health, sports, philosophy, literature, science.
All taught by
volunteers.
Isn't that amazing?
Who have either been in that field for a lifetime, or it's been their passion of interest for a lifetime, and they're sharing it. And that's what's made this program one of the biggest ones in the United States, because of our demographic here. So many people have retired, and they want to share their knowledge, and they love to learn.
And there's a wealth of it. You had a class, and I thought this was the neatest thing ever, Ukrainian egg decorating.
Oh, yeah.
Who does this? I mean, that is so wonderful. I mean, that is something I would thoroughly enjoy doing, because it's different. You know, it doesn't have to be.
That's right.
Okay.
I mean, the history classes are great and everything, but sometimes you want to do something totally different than what you do the same thing.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So maybe you're doing that type of a class, but the next hour you might be studying the origin of the universe. who is taught by a scientist who has spent his lifetime looking at this. I mean, I am in awe, constant awe of the people that are taking classes and the people that are teaching classes. Yeah. It's just incredible. And really, anyone can join. Most of our participants are over 50 because they're retired. They have time to take classes during the day. But you don't have to be over 50. You can, you know, if you've got time.
Is there a cost to taking the class?
There is. Now, OLLI membership per year costs $35. Okay. And just by being an OLLI member, you get great benefits. You get to go to the Met Opera at our Beaufort campus at a discount. You get to use the library, the cafe. You get to take out books. There's many benefits to being an OLLI member.
What's
OLLI,
Osher Lifelong
Learning Institute. There you go.
Thank you. I was like, all right, I'm putting it out there.
Okay.
You know,
as opposed to AARP, OLLI, she wasn't sure.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. And you know, it's funny because when people say, "What do you do?" I have to say, "Okay, I am director of Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at University of South Carolina, Beaufort."
Yeah. Now, see how smart I'm getting because of
and
this
your
show.
viewership now they are you just learned something. Yes.
I love it.
Okay, now here's the real we think the bargain. For $85 per term, you can take as many classes as you want. So we have over 200 classes in a term, and for $85 you can take one, you can take two, you can take 50. You can take as many courses.
That's crazy.
Now,
That's awesome.
and not all the classes last a term. Some of the classes are just very short.
Correct. Yeah, we have some classes that are an hour and a half long, one session.
Right.
Or they may be 4 sessions long. We had a course on Islam recently that was 12 Fridays. And that's one of the longest session classes. But typically they are shorter. Yeah. So you can fit in so many classes during the term, work around your schedule. I mean, it's easy. And, you know, I refer to our members as family because they are a family. They become this unified group that comes to classes. They look forward to seeing each other and sharing. Yeah. And then they end up doing things on their own, which is really fascinating.
But it's not just at USCB. Right? You've got a couple different locations?
That's right. We're in actually 4 locations. We're at University of South Carolina, Beaufort here on the Bluffton campus. Then we're at the historic Beaufort campus. Okay. Then we have an OLLI classroom, which is now an art gallery as well, in Hilton Head Pineland Station. Oh. And then now we also have a room in Jasper County where we use their recreational site. And they have a great conference room. So we're in 4 locations.
There's a ton of opportunity then.
There is. That's not to mention all the classes that you can take off site, like at Hunting Island, or we'll go to a historical museum, and we do OLLI trips. So it's just, there's so much to choose from.
I'm blown away by the amount of members that you have. Yeah. Like you said, 1,500?
Yes, and growing.
That is awesome.
And growing.
So now, do people go to your website? Where do they get more information about what you can offer and about the upcoming semester, if you will, I guess, or term?
Yes. So our website is certainly, it's at uscb.edu. So you can go on the university website and you'll see a link to lifelong learning, the OLLI program. That's pretty easy. But certainly we can have people call, which is a fairly easy number to remember, which is 208-8247.
That is good stuff. Oh, Andrea, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It makes you want to retire.
And
so
just
you
learn.
Can go back to school.
Well, I'm glad you said that because we're actually going to be offering some courses now in the evenings, late afternoons and evenings, and on Saturdays.
Great.
Because people are working longer or they're going back to work. And why should OLLI only be for those that can only come during the day?
That's a good point.
So right. Fantastic. Yes.
Or even those who have volunteered, you know, that if they've got other commitments, it is another opportunity for them to work it into their schedule.
Anyone who doesn't know if they would be interested, just go to the website, look through the course offerings. There will be something that you never considered even learning about, but you may have had an interest, like Ukrainian eggs.
Or this
know.
one was good too, royal scandals.
Oh, yeah. That was a really good one.
That was a good one. I would like to teach that one. That's great.
Or the wives of kings.
We're going to take a quick break here on Primetime Seniors. We'll be back actually with one of those volunteer teachers that works with you at the Lifelong Learning. So stay with us. We'll be right back here on Primetime Seniors. Seniors. Judith Lawrenson joins us now. She is actually one of the volunteer teachers at Lifelong Learning, and thank you for being here.
Oh, Debbie, thank you so much for inviting me. I always like to advocate for the Lifelong Learning Center. It's such a gift to the community, I think.
It is. How did you get involved?
Well, it's kind of a long story. One of my neighbors received a catalog in the mail and brought it over and said, what do you think? Let's take a class. And I said, oh, well, I don't know, what's interesting. And as it turned out, there was a class offered on Antietam, one of the Civil War battlefields. And my son and daughter-in-law live in Hagerstown, Maryland, which is right near. It's Antietam. I mean, it's the whole Antietam thing. So I dragged my husband along. We started going, next time we go to see the kids, maybe we'll go to Antietam. And so off we all went. This class was absolutely fascinating. I mean, it was just the detail, the knowledge that this man had. It was unbelievable. So we went to Antietam, and of course we knew everything. We listened to the lecture, we drove around, and everything was just so exciting and interesting because we had taken this class. So of course I signed up for another class, and then when I went to the next class, it was a class about reading. And so I asked the teacher afterwards, I said, we talked about some things, and she said, you really should teach a class here. And I said, well, I think I have something to offer. I had an outstanding professional career, I think, and I was a reading resource specialist in my career. And so the director asked me if I would talk about something about students with learning disabilities, because students with learning disabilities, and you know this as a retired educator, 75% of the students the children in juvenile detention have learning disabilities. Most of the abused children have learning disabilities. A lot
of our adults incarcerated.
Absolutely, incarcerated adults were children with undiagnosed learning disabilities. So I thought, well, I'll see if I can do this. So I put together two classes. One of them is for students, caregivers and parents, grandparents of students with learning disabilities. And the other class was for teachers who worked with students with learning disabilities. So both of the classes, it turned out, were full. And it was great.
I really helped being able to help others.
Well, and not only that, yes, but it helped me too, being a volunteer and coming into that setting and teaching again. I mean, I haven't taught, for several years. Yeah. But to be teaching again, to be teaching when fellow educators, speaking and interacting again with fellow educators. I used to present to educators. And then to work with these caregivers. I had several African American girls from a preschool who were very much at sea what to do with these young
very
people.
Active
yes,
children.
Exactly. Yes, the hyperactive, the dyslexic, all sorts of scenarios that they were unfamiliar with. And then I had grandparents come. My little grandson, they say at school he can't read, and what should we do about this? And it turned out to be a real, after my presentation lasted about an hour, and we were there for almost another 2 hours.
And I think that's important for folks to understand that we're not, when you go to a class at the Lifelong Learning Institute, you're not sitting reading for hours in preparation.
That's right.
The teacher is there to share that information, and it's much more dynamic than a traditional classroom. There's
Absolutely.
a lot of give and take going on.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because the people who come to these classes are professionals, generally, are professionals in their own right. Perhaps not in the topic that you're talking about, but they're there because they not only want to learn something, but they also bring something to the table. So the discussions, in actual fact, sometimes it's been my experience that the discussions have lasted longer than the class.
Well, and for Primetime Seniors, for the show, one of our consistent messages has been know your community resources.
That's right.
That's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you engaged in your community.
That's right.
The OLLI, the Osher Lifelong, is a field full of resources on a number of topics.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to what Andrea Cecina was saying during her interview, that relationships build within those classrooms because they're not traditional.
That's right. And you know, again, when I did the class for parents, grandparents, and caregivers of students with learning disabilities, they walked out talking to each other.
Because they had natural support starting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. They
Yeah.
literally walked out interacting with each other, sharing
How
stories.
wonderful.
Oh, it was fabulous. I loved doing it.
So you would come up with your curriculum, I guess.
Yes, a volunteer teacher comes forward with his or her own curriculum. And in fact, I'm teaching another class there next semester called It Starts with a Dream, and it's how to write a children's story. I have a published children's story. So it's the how to get, I have an idea. What kind of a story do I want to write? Do I want to write a plot story? Do I want to write a biography? Do I want to write a little interactive story? What kind of a thing am I going to put out there? So I'm hoping that the people who take this class will have had an idea and said, gee, I want to,
All of
how
those
can I
J.K.
do
Rowling
that?
wannabes.
Never know.
Yeah, you don't ever
That's
know.
right.
What
She
happened
sure
with
never
her.
knew.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's
that's-
wonderful.
You had
It
you wanted to talk about some of the other classes that are there. There
There's
were some
one
things
class
that
in
were top of
particular
mind.
I'd like to talk about. My husband is going to be teaching a class, by the way, called Bahamas Bound. He's a big sailor, so he's going to do this Bahamas Bound, and it's.
Do you take a field trip with that one? Because
Yeah.
No, you have to sit and watch the pictures. I'm sorry. But the other class that I thought was really my husband's class, my class, but this is a class that really caught my attention because I just watched on Netflix Armistead, the slave
Yes.
ship. This is a class taught by Ron Roth, who is the director at Ollie, and it's about the Underground Railroad. And I guess you're all aware of this, but Mitchellville on Hilton Head Island was where Harriet Tubman came, and Harriet Tubman was actually on Hilton Head Island. And he talks about the Underground Railroad, some myths about the Underground Railroad, how many people they actually rescued, and the risk that these people took. I mean, God, the risk was just unbelievable. But I kind of caught an interest in all of this through interest in Mitchellville. And this Ron Roth class, I think, is going to be really dynamic. He's a very good presenter. Not only is the material interesting, but he's a very good presenter. And again, a volunteer. You know, there's such a wealth of not only volunteers, but volunteer opportunities. I have a friend who volunteers at the Bargain Box. She's 84 years old. She sings in the church choir. She volunteers at the Bargain Box. She goes to classes. That's how I first met her. She goes to classes. And she said to me, Judith, I'll tell you what. She said, anybody who's bored on Hilton Head Island, it's their own damn fault.
That's right. That's right. Good for you. That's right.
And on that note, no, it's great. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching this episode of Primetime Seniors. We are going to continue our theme of lifelong learning in the second half of the month. So be sure to tune in because there's a lot more coming up here on Primetime Seniors. Thanks again for watching from Riverside at Belfair. We'll see you next time.